very closely. And we need to know how to get P.A.I.D. from that situation. Now, I'm going to go over a little bit today with today's radio broadcast, because I'm going to give you 2 ways to monetize this situation with regards to North Korea. But before I get to that, I want to go over one other thing here quickly. Are you aware that there are 2 North Korean satellites that are orbiting the United States right now as we speak? And the U.S. intelligence does not know what's in the payloads of those 2 satellites. Yes, the U.S. government has been focusing a lot of attention on North Korea's ground-to-air air missile test and nuclear programs lately. But one portion of the Defense Department is focusing on North Korea's satellites, 2 of which are hovering over the United States, because they don't know what's in the payload of those satellites. You see, there are twin satellites from North Korea launched in 2012 and 2016 respectively, floating about 300 miles above the United States. Okay? And the U.S. Defense Department fears that North Korea has secretly developed the ability to attack the United States with these satellites using something known as EMP. Write that down. EMP. It stands for electromagnetic pulse. So here's how that would work. The satellites would drop in altitude from 300 miles to 150 miles above the United States in order to detonate their EMP, or electronic magnetic pulse capabilities. When they do that, the explosion would knock out critical life-sustaining infrastructure below it. Infrastructure that depends on the U.S. national electrical grid. Now, such infrastructural damages could be catastrophic to the following areas. We're talking about telecommunications around the United States. We're talking about banking and finance. We're talking about automated control systems, petroleum and natural gas lines, transportation systems, food and waterway deliveries, emergency services, and the list goes on and on. We're talking about pharmaceutical disbursements of medications, hospital services. Now, while there's no proof that the current North Korean satellites above the United States contain explosive material needed to make such a detonation a reality, the feds likewise aren't aware of what's in those payloads at all. The feds also don't know the detonating capacity. What is the procedure that occurs just before these particular payloads could be detonated? Okay? Now, other nations such as Russia and China and Iran and Israel are preparing their infrastructure grids for such an attack. Okay? Talking about that EPM attack. Okay? But the United States is largely defenseless against EMP, a type of attack. In fact, it has been mentioned that His Royal Highness Donald Trump needs to give a high priority to making the prospect of an EMP a national security imperative and give it the highest priority, something which his administration isn't doing right now as I speak. Okay? What he would be well advised to do, as many military analysts have stated, is that His Royal Highness needs to begin by appointing an EMP coordinator to reside in the National Security Council to get federal, state, and local efforts underway to not only protect vulnerable electronics, but also to help work out a plan for local governments to act upon in the event of an EMP. Citizens need to know what to do in the case of such an emergency so as not to create massive panic throughout the country. And then there are ways that you, me, we, the ASK THE WIZ Wealth Institute family, okay, as savvy traders and investors, there are ways that we could prepare our portfolios for such an attack.